Good afternoon, everyone. Rick Weaver, and welcome you to another broadcast of Northwest Georgia Cryptics. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Blake Duckworth. We had a show scheduled for tonight with Mr. Chris Mathieu with Forbidden Knowledge News, and for some reason, Chris hasn't joined us. I don't know if he's going to join us later or what, but uh, we're here tonight to kind of give you a rundown on our day's events of today and to advertise for a special broadcast for in the morning. We're going to be doing one from Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. Mr. Blake is going to be up there actually doing the broadcast. I'm going to be streaming it from here. Blake, you want to tell the folks a little bit about that?
How's it going, guys? Everybody doing okay? Everybody stay safe for the New Year's. And as always, guys, thank you guys for your support. And if you don't mind, hit the bell notification, subscribe button, leave us a like and a comment. So basically, in the morning, we will be there at 10 o'clock. Probably start the live stream about 11, 10:30, 11. I'm not quite sure on the time yet. But basically, we're just going to go up to Old South Pittsburgh to do an investigation, me and my fiance. But while we're there, we're going to do a live stream. Ricky will be with us. Far as on the live stream, later on, we'll probably do probably 30 minutes to an hour to begin with. Then, depending on activity and everything, I plan on doing probably another hour later on, just depending on how everything goes. That's pretty much it.
All right. I want to give a little input on one of our last live streams that we done from down at the Old Macedonia Cemetery. Blake and I were down there last week, and we caught some activity that really got to me. We had contacted two or three people, or two or three entities, and uh, the very last one that I contacted was a young man that
He was 19.
told us that, yeah, a 19-year-old young man that had actually been the victim of a murder. And while doing the interview with the young man, we learned that his father is actually the one that had killed him. But while we were there and talking to this entity, I was overcame. I don't know, with a heavy weight. It just felt like somebody pushing me to the ground, and like I don't know, like something was trying to actually take me over or whatever. But I had become so upset that I ended up having to have Blake in the broadcast prematurely to kind of recompose myself. And one of the strangest things that I've ever had happen to me. Blake, what was your thoughts on it, buddy? You were there holding the camera. What did you think was going on?
I mean, just about my main thing was the emotions that you showed. You could tell that you definitely felt the emotions of the victim or the who the entity that we had contacted or that you had contact. I mean, me personally, I didn't feel any different at the time other than just watching you. But I've never seen, out of all our investigations, I've never seen you um, get emotional like that. I mean, it's that was definitely a first, and I believe you would agree with that. I mean, I've seen you get shook up. I mean, like at the house on Carbondale Road. I mean, that night when you walked in the room behind me and you got pushed. I mean, that was probably one of the more
Well,
scared I've seen you, or not scared, but startled I've seen you. I mean, other than with that the other night. I mean, that was definitely the most emotional I've ever seen you in an investigation.
yeah, that young that that night up there, that was really a game changer for me. Folks, we do this.
Now, uh, now he was. This was the first time that we had used dowsing rods. So this was Ricky's first experience with dowsing rods. Basically, we're asking yes and no questions, very simple questions, to kind of find out, from there what we were, some answers. And the 19-year-old that Ricky had contacted was, I mean, I don't think you'd really felt anything until you contacted him,
Mm,
or it's feeling weird or anything.
no, I mean it was just like a normal night's investigation. And as Blake said, we were using the dowsing rods, and this was actually my first experience at trying it with the dowsing rods. And Blake had
And
spoken with a friend of ours
that's
last night, I think it was up in North Carolina, and they've actually been using dowsing rods quite a bit in their investigations. And the lady that Blake spoke with last night told him that by using the dowsing rods, you actually put yourself uh, more confrontational with these spirits. And I think maybe that's what happened down there the other night when we contacted him, was the fact that it was like instead of being a one-on-one, it's like you're being intertwined. Is the only way I can put
and
it.
who Ricky's talking about is our haunted lives. They have started doing live streams on YouTube as well. And they do a open chat sometimes. And I was watching their live stream, and they put the link to the chat, or the link to the StreamYard in the chat, which allows, kind of, um, people to interact. You can come on here like we are, and so I jumped on their stream with them, and it was Neil, David, Christy, and gosh, I feel bad for not remembering the other two guys' names. They have channels as well, and we were talking about the dowsing rods, and I told them about the experience that you had, and I guess Christy's she's works with Ghost Hunt weekends, um, and she's real into dowsing rods. And the best thing what she explained to me was, it does put you closer to the spirit or to the entity. And you'll feel the emotions more than you normally would, um, with just regular, typical investigations, or things that you would normally do for just like EVPs, or personal experiences. You can actually feel the energy of the, and that's what Neil was saying, is when he uses dowsing rods, it puts you closer to the spirit. And that's basically what she says. That's the reason you kind of had that experience. And she told me, to tell you, um, to don't let that scare you, or keep you from using them again. Like they said, it's just like any investigation, and it's like with the paranormal in general. Um, you know, not all everything's always going to be the same every time you use them.
Well, that is true. Like I said, that was my first time using them, and it really opened me up to. It makes you more vulnerable than you normally are on an investigation, where you're using K2s, and where you're using regular mics.
Yeah, you're basically open yourself. It doesn't open. It doesn't. I guess it does kind of help, like, make you more vulnerable a little bit, because it puts you more in a connection with the spirit.
It really does. This is the first time, like I said, we used them, and it really, it really got to me. I don't know. I felt this. It just like a heavy weight overcome me, and I was actually right on the verge of tears when I told Blake I couldn't take it anymore. I just turned and walked off camera, and it took me quite a few minutes. You can ask Blake on the ride back to ever get to the point that I could actually get to work, kind of talk, but as far as actually, what happened, I don't know. I don't know whether this young man's spirit was actually trying to interconnect with me, or what it was doing, but it really did. It really messed me up there for a few minutes. And if there's anybody out there that watched the video, I think y'all be able to tell that as far as my emotions, right there at the end of the video, that it really got to me. And I just want to apologize to everybody for ending that video so abruptly. Blake?
Now, I mean, far as emotion that you felt, I mean, can you explain what you felt? I mean,
Well,
other than you said that you just felt like something was weighing down on you. I mean, did you actually feel any emotions, as far as sad or?
yeah, I mean, it was like, it was like that I was there with him. Like it was. I don't know how to really put this, but it was like I was feeling the pain that he was feeling when all this took place. That's what it felt like to me, and it was just something that just tore me apart. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah. So I mean that I'm actually gonna, I guess, try the dowsing rods up at Old South Pittsburgh tomorrow. See what is come of that. I shouldn't say I'm not really nervous, but I mean little interested to see what happens.
Yeah,
I know there are a lot of people that like using dowsing rods at the hospital, so we'll see how it goes.
well, I can tell you, buddy, be careful with it because you're liable to do something that you really don't want to. It was. It was just something unique to me, something that I had never really felt. And even back when we were investigating down there years ago, back 2011, and on up to this day, I had never, we'd encountered a lot of different stuff down there up until then, but never, I had never had that type of feeling happen to me. As for instance, like the night we were using the pin light there on Mr. Keever's grave, and had the pin light come on and off. We saw the orbs. We had all kinds of encounters down there, and even though we had that stuff happening, I had never felt the emotion that I felt the other night when you and I were there.
Yeah, I mean, even with some of the EVPs we've caught down there before, I mean, we've caught some EVPs that weren't so nice, and never once felt that energy down there. Even though the EVPs were so negative, I've never gotten that negative feeling down there. I mean, the place is creepy, especially at night, but I mean, other than the creepy feeling, I've never felt bad energy down there, I guess be the best way to put that. And
Well,
this wasn't and this wasn't bad energy that you encountered necessarily, but far as any type of emotional or mainly emotional feelings down there. I mean, I've never had any emotions or just dramatic changes of something affecting me like that down there.
and that was strange too. Like I said, all the times we've been down there, I've never encountered anything like that. But it was as if once we contacted that young man, because we had talked to I don't know what 3 or 4 entities before that, and had never and had questioned them with the dowsing rods, but I never felt anything during that. But when I contacted that last young man on there, you know, it was as if something was actually trying to overtake me. Is the way I felt. I've never felt anything like it. Now that I look back on it, I hope to be able to do that type of encounter again, because it was as if I were feeling the feeling that that young man felt. He was trying to
Yeah, and
answer our
that's why David and Neil said, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it caught you off guard, but I mean, it's a I wouldn't say an honor of an experience, but I mean, you understand more, I guess, when you have a personal experience like that. I can't tell people how you felt. I mean, I didn't have that personal experience. So, that's what I love about, well, shouldn't say I love, but that's what I really enjoy about the paranormal, I guess, is personal experiences because, so many people have personal experiences that somebody else may have been in the room with them or been right next to them, but didn't feel the same thing. So I mean, you've got to listen to what somebody tells you. You can't like be like, oh, that person didn't feel that, because that's the thing about the paranormal. They, for some reason, certain spirits are drawn to certain people and certain situations, and everybody has different personal experiences. And I think personal experiences, yes, it's not documented. You can't have a picture of it. You can't have a video. I mean, you can have a video of reaction, but there's no way to truly show what your experience is. So I think personal experiences like that or better evidence than a video or certain sometimes. I mean, you don't have a way to prove it, I guess you would say, but I think personal experiences need more credit than some people give personal experiences.
Well, I can tell you what, man, it's an awakening when you have an experience like I had. It's something that you'll never forget. You know, when a spirit actually contacts you, and you can actually feel what that spirit felt in the moment that the tragedy happened to them. You can actually feel their fear, their emotions, and that's what I think I was actually feeling the other night. And it was just something that it just overwhelmed me. I didn't know what to do. That's the first time I'd ever encountered that situation, and it was just something that freaked me out. Basically, I just couldn't I couldn't deal with it.
You know, the only thing that I've ever down there at the cemetery, I don't know if you remember that night that we were walking up to the graves up to the right. It was me, you, and my dad, and me and my dad both felt. I wouldn't say it was being choked, but pressure around our neck, like it was kind of hard to swallow, not really hard to breathe, but it was a weird sensation. Both me and my dad felt it at the same time. I mean, that's the only like physical personal experience I've had down there.
Well, man, that goes back to like the night up there at the house on Carbondale when we were up there. That was something as far as being pushed, shoved, and to get this story out there. Blake and I went to an old two-story house up there, and creepy
Now,
old house.
little rundown on the house. Not I can't remember huge details about it, but I do know that in the Civil War, I can't remember if it was Confederate or Union soldiers that got held up in the house. I'm pretty sure it was Confederate soldiers that got held up in the house, and it's actually beside a railroad. And I guess the Union had them held up in the house, and they were actually a battle at this house. Like, I mean, it got shot up pretty bad. And I mean, I can't remember for specific details of how many people died during that or whatever, but just a little history about the house. So I mean, it does have significant history.
Right, and Blake and I had learned something else after we had had this encounter that night. We went up there anyway, and just to kind of lay out the picture of the old house. It was one of the old farmhouses from probably late 1800s. It had a big front door. The door was kind of ajar when we went in. Uh, Of course, we had our flashlights with us, our headlamps and stuff. But this house was built. It had one long hallway right down the center of the house, and then all the rooms were off that hallway on each side. And we went down to what Blake, the second room, I think it was,
It was the
and
last room on the left was the room that you got pushed in. I think there are three rooms on each side, so there's six rooms downstairs. And the last room on the left, I walked in first, and as you walked through the behind me is when you got pushed.
yeah, well, I actually remembered, I think you'd kind of stepped to one side when I went in, and
Yeah, I moved.
they
I went to the right side of the room. Like when I walked in, I went to the right.
the over against the far wall in the house, there had been some floorboards pulled up. And of course, I'm kind of a curious feller, so I go over there and I shine my light down to see beneath the floor. And when I did, it felt just like two hands actually shoved me, and I fell down in this hole. And my first my first instinct was that Blake had shoved me. I thought Blake had shoved me off in there, and I was too old. I'll just put it that way. But when Blake had to kind of help me back up out of there, and it was something. We started back out of the room, and one of our hair, one of our heads kind of yanked backwards. We went on out into the hall, and we run back out on the front porch, and out into the yard. And this is the part that Blake and I had no knowledge of whatsoever. When we got back out in the front yard, I glanced back at the house, and the old house was one of these type that had the old dormer windows upstairs with the window that's actually built out from the house. And they call them dog boxes, I think is what they call them today. But in the middle window was a silhouette of an old woman with like an orange glowing light around her. Now I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this house had no power whatsoever to the house. There was no power whatsoever. But this entity that was in that window had like an orange glow around her. And that was probably one of the most frightening encounters that I'd had doing paranormal research up to that time. And just to be frank, it scared us so bad that we got the hell out of there.
Well, and
Like I say, we had
before we actually went to this house, we knew nothing about this house. No history on it, no nothing. I mean, we just basically went to check the house out, and Ricky told me about seeing the lady in white that he was talking about up in the center window, and I'm like, I didn't see it. I've never actually seen an apparition, far as a full blown that's a person standing there apparition. Um, so went, after we got back home, or I don't remember if it was that night particularly, but I mean, I actually started trying to do a little research on the place, and that's when I found out about the history, about the battle and everything. And one of the main reports that people see there is a lady in white in the exact same window that Ricky's seen it in. So that was kind of validation on my part that he had seen that, because I mean he described exactly what other people have described without knowing anything about this house.
Hey man, it was a wild night, very wild night. But we plan in the future, ladies and gentlemen. We've been checking some areas out. I've been on Facebook and talked to quite a few people here in Gordon County that have given us locations that we actually did not know existed around the county that Blake and I are going to be trying to check out in the near future. And we also went today up on Sandy Gap Mountain up in Murray County and checked out an area up there that we're going to go back and do some Bigfoot research in. Promising looking area. It's actually up on Rock Creek, People's Lake area. There's an all-terrain vehicle trail that the road that goes through there runs out to where the ATV trail is at. Blake and I plan in the near future going up there and checking that out, maybe riding some of the trails. But Uh, there's a couple areas in that particular spot there that we do want to go up and set up and do investigations. Want to go back to Pigeon Mountain, I do, and do some investigations over there. Over there back last year with a group of people that we used to be in a group out of Tennessee, and we had some encounters over there, and actually got uh, uh, hits on their FLIR over there that night. We had three of these creatures that you could kind of tell by the hits on the FLIR that it was like maybe a large male, a female, and a younger one that night, and they were out about 50 yards, 50 to 60 yards across the road from where we were camped at. Uh, we had some real wild stuff happen that night, so we're going to go back up there, Blake and I are, and going to take some of our other team members with us and try to do an investigation up there in the near future. Blake, you got anything else, buddy?
No, guys. Just basically tomorrow. Like I said, gonna try to do the live stream about 10:30. Now that will be Central Time. So it will be 11:30 our time. Um, well, may do it at 11 then, since you got to be at the doctor at 1. Um, but yeah, if you don't mind, guys, just tune in for it. Should be a good time. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button, bell notification, like, and comment. Like I said, we just sure do appreciate you guys. We are slowly growing. Let's try to get this channel to grow a little bit faster. If you guys don't mind, hit the subscribe button. And everybody be safe tomorrow night. Don't do anything stupid. And I hope everybody has a good New Year's. Maybe 2021 will be a little bit better than 2020.
Yeah, guys, whatever you do tomorrow night, it is New Year's night, so please, if you're going to be out partying, drinking, whatever, just
Be
designate
smart.
someone, have a
Yep.
designated driver.
Use
Don't
common
be,
sense and be smart.
be smart because, I can tell you from personal experience in 1991, I've actually had one DUI in my life in 1991, and even back then it ended up costing me a bundle. The laws at that time were not near as strict as they are now, so I ended up paying back then $1,000 and ended up having to do some community service and stuff on top of that. But now people have told me, that these fines can range up to $10,000 for your first encounter with a DUI. So, folks, just remember, do not be out drinking and driving because not only are you putting your own life at risk, you're putting everyone else that's on the road at risk. So, please just get you a designated driver. By all means, get out and have fun, but just be safe at it. Happy New Year, everybody. Blake, Happy New Year to you. You be safe tomorrow going up there, Mr. Blake, to Chattanooga. Uh, and I'm looking forward to doing the broadcasting more than you.
All right, brother. Well, everybody have a good night, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
All right, everybody, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, and remember, join us here next week. We will have, hang on 1 minute. Actually, our guest for next week is Mr. Jonathan Odom from Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot Investigations. Jonathan, I've spoken with him on the phone. Jonathan's a good guy. Join in and we'll find out what Mr. Jonathan has going on down in his stretch of the woods in Alabama, my home state. I'm glad to mention, but hey, no wisecrack, Blake.
That explains a lot, Ricky.
Hey, look, all those old wives tales about people sleeping with their sisters and stuff just because they're from Alabama. Hey,
It's
that
true.
ain't true. I got 3 sisters and they'd cut your head off if you tried something like that. So No, folks, nothing like that was true about Alabama. All these old tales you hear about the state of Alabama is just a bunch of malarkey. I can tell you that now. But
Maybe not
anyway,
in your maybe not in your family, Ricky.
hey, not in my family. I can tell you that right now. So,
We'll leave it
yeah,
at that.
yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Good night to all of you. Have a safe weekend. Have a safe New Year, and hope to see you back here tomorrow morning. Good night, everybody.